Rachna? Okay, so hello everyone. Welcome to the session. Today we are going to talk about a few additional things pertaining to Python programming. And let us see to what extent we can cover. Okay. So yesterday, while we were talking, we stopped at a specific point. Right? At this specific point is what we stopped, where we just got into discussion of circulating the values of n variables. What does this really mean, and how is it going to help? So let's get into this part of discussion. So for I in range of 1 comma length of a, already we have created a list. And when we printed the values, we see the values 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then when you say length of A, it gives you 4. That are 4 values in our list. And for I in range of 1 comma length of A is 4. So this part would then print range of 1 comma 4, which is length of A, comma 1. Meaning you want to increment the values in an increment of 1. So 1, if you increase it by 1, you get 2. If you increase 2 by 1, you get 3. But the last number is ignored. You can also keep 2, for instance. If I say 2, you'll have number 1, that's the starting number. If you increment it by 2, you get 3. If you increment 3 by 2, you get 5. But 5 will be out of this range because this is the ending value. And this is the starting value. So you have a starting value, you have an ending value, and you have the steps. In what steps do you want to increment? So here within our line of code, we have 1. So you need to increment by starting from 1 in increments of 1. Just a moment, sorry. I have this habit of making a quick note of things that I remember. So let me do this. So sorry, just give me 1 minute. All right. Sorry. So certain things I quickly come across and then I have a tendency to quickly record, otherwise it will evaporate, it will fly away. All right. So here we have a starting value, we have an ending value, and we have steps in which you want to increment that. And here you're printing the values. Of I would be in range of these numbers. Range of these numbers would give you 1, 2, and 3. So for I in 1, so that means for value I equal to 1, when you say A of 1 colon, you want from the index number 1 until n. So if you have 1, 2, and 3, if those are the, and 4, if these are the values of A, and if you say A of 1 colon, here I equal to 1, When I in 1, you say A of 1 colon, meaning this has an index number 0, this will have an index number 1, this will have an index number 2, this will have an index number 3. 1 colon means 1 until end. So index number 1 until end would give you 2, 3, 4, right? 2, 3, 4, 1 until end. Plus A of colon I. So this would give you A of colon 1, meaning from the starting index number, you want to consider everything. For instance, if I say A colon 3, it would give you 0, 1, and 2 index numbers. 3, the last number is not considered. Within Python, the 3 things that we spoke about, remember? Indexing in Python starts from 0. This is the first thing that we have discussed. Then, whenever you have values like this, the last index number is ignored. This last index number is ignored. Second. Third, if you want to refer to the last value, you refer to the last value using -1. -1 refers to the last index number, index value. Okay. These are the three golden rules that one has to remember when it comes to Python. Indexing in Python starts from 0. The last index number is ignored, and -1 refers to the last index value. From last. Okay. So this is something that we have already spoken about. And when I say A colon 3, the last value is ignored. So 0, 1, 2 is printed. When I say A colon 2, from the first value onwards, that is index number 0 and 1, 2 is ignored. When you say A of colon 1, only 0, 1 is ignored. So you start from 0 and then this last number is ignored. So here you will get 0. Index number 0. What does index number 0 refer to? 1. So that 1 is printed here. Let's do it for the next iteration. Okay, next. For I in 2, I values range from 1 to, the range of values will be 1, 2, and 3. So for I in 2, when you say for I in 1, this first row gets printed. For I in 2, the second row gets printed. For I in 3, the third row gets printed. And in the second row, A of I colon, I is 2. So this part would be A of 2 colon. That means 2 until end. That is what it means. 2 until end. If you don't give anything until the end. So it will be 2, 3. Index numbers 2, 3. Index number 2 refers to 3. Index number 3 refers to 4. So 3 and 4 get printed. Plus, you have a plus sign here. You want A of colon I. What does this do? A of colon 2, because I is 2 now. That means A of colon 2 means it will print 0 and 1 index numbers. Last number is ignored. So index number 0 belongs to 1. index number 1 belong to 2. So these numbers 1 and 2 are printed. Next, A, we got all these ones, right? A is equivalent to 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 has an index number 0, 2 has an index number 1, 3 has index number 2, 4 has index number 3. For I in range of all these numbers, so for I in 3 now, for I in 3, print the third entry values. A of I equivalent. A of I equivalent, that is 3 equivalent. Meaning from index number 3 until the end. And the index number 3 here refers to 4. And until n means only you have index number until 3. So 4, you print 4 plus A of colon 3. Meaning from the beginning until 3, and you exclude this 3. So that means it will give you A of colon 3 means index number 0, 1 and 2. 3 is ignored. So index number 0 refers to 1, index number 1 refers to 2, index number 2 refers to 3. Right? These 3 index numbers, values are there. A 3 colon means 3 until end, index number 3 refers to 4. And after 3 you don't have anything. So the numbers which should be printed would be 4 and then 1 and then 2 for this and then 3. And then the loop comes out, because now if it goes back to this loop, for I in range of what? 1, 2, 3 you have done already. All those 3 are printed. So it will stop. This print operation will stop. Okay. So this is exactly how it works. So if I were to run it, sorry. Okay, just ignore that something else has happened here, I believe. So 1, 2, 3, 4, enter. You have all these numbers. So you call length of P here and then run. Yeah, you have all those values. Sorry, length of A I just taken there just to show you that the length is right. If that value wasn't getting carried forward. But anyways, now it's fixed. Okay. Now let us understand on how to find the distance between 2 points. Finding the distance between 2 points is very, very important, friends. Why? Because this very concept is used in a lot of machine learning algorithms, in a technique called as K-means clustering, hierarchy, right? So on and so forth. Hierarchical clustering techniques. Right? So clustering, which is also called as segmentation, which are data science concepts or machine learning concepts. In that you use this. There are also a lot of algorithms such as KNN, and a lot of scenarios. In a lot of scenarios, distance, calculating the distance between 2 points is, used basically. So here, if you have 2 values, say there is a value I which has 1, 2. There is another J, variable called J, which has 3, 4. If you want to find the distance between these 2 points, right? How we find the distance? Square root of 3 minus 1 whole square plus 4 minus 2 whole square. This would be square root of 2 square will be 4 plus here also you get 2 square 4 and then you get square root of 8. Square root of 8 will be some number. 2 point whatever, 2 point, maybe it could be close to 2.8, 2.9 something. Okay? So anyways, you get that value when you find square root of it. If you have more than two values, then how do you find the distance? For example, if I have a value of an object or a variable which has values 1, 2, and 3. Say one other thing j which has 3, 6, 9, some numbers. How do you find the distance? Square root of 3 minus 1 whole square plus 6 minus 2 whole square plus 9 minus 3 whole square. Three minus 1 is 2, 2 square is 4. 6 minus 2 is 4, 4 square is 16. 9 minus 3 is 3. Sorry, 9 minus 3 is 6, 6 square is 36. So you have 20 and this will give you square root of 56. It will be around 7.5 or 7.6, some number. Okay. So anyways, so this is how you calculate the distance. If you have more values, you put more values in this. This very way of calculating the distance, this formula using underscore and all that, is called as Euclidean distance. It's given a special name called as Euclidean distance. Okay, and distance can never be negative. Condition number 1. Why can distance be never negative? Because you will have a starting point and you will have a, if this point to the, even if you travel in this point to this point, you would have traveled either 1 kilometer or 2 kilometers or 3 kilometers, 1 mile, 2 miles, you would have traveled. Here also you're traveling 1 mile, 2 miles, 3 miles. You're covering some distance in this way or in this way. Either way, you're able to cover some distance. So distance can never be negative. You cannot say that I've traveled minus 1 kilometer. Until unless you have a time machine and then you go back in the time machine to a different time period altogether, you cannot have it. Second, distance from a point to the same point will always be 0. If you are at a specific place, how far would you be from that specific place? So, from a specific place to the same place, always distance will be 0. You won't move, right? From a point to that point, it will always be 0. Okay, next. Symmetry. If you have a point I and a point A, if you want to find the distance between I to j, you get a distance dij. Again, if you want to find the distance between j to 1, that will also be the same. Distance from Bengaluru to Delhi or distance from Delhi to Bengaluru would be the same, right? So that is what this means. Distance from I to j is equal to distance from j to 1. These three are fun. Next thing is triangle inequality, meaning if you look at any triangle, be it like this or be it like this, whatever. If you take the distance of any two sides, if you have I, j and k, distance from I to j plus distance from j to k, if you add the distances of any two sides, it would be greater than or equal to the distance of the third side. If you have I, j and k, distance between any two sides would be greater than distance of the third side. This is yet another property that one has to be aware of. These are a few properties of distance. Now, there is a specific library in Python called as math library. Remember, friends, one simple thing. Libraries in Python are nothing but collection of code or functions which some programmer has written in the past. And we want to reuse that. We would like to reuse the code. So in Python, you have libraries, and one such library is math library. And always the best practices after the equal to sign and before the equal to sign, use space. So we are first you need to import this library, and then if you want to use say square root, then you take it from math library. You are taking the square root. Anyways, we'll get there. We are saying input. Okay, when you say input an integer, you want an integer, you want to input a value. You're saying enter x1. Then you're saying input and you're saying enter y1. So it will show you a window, a small cell in which you need to put in the values. Once you store those values in x1 and y1, you're saying print those values. So let me run the cell and let us enter the values. Enter this. I will say x1 is 2, enter. It says enter y1, I'll say 3, enter. It says values are 2 and 3. I'll run this once again and I'll say 1.1. Why is it throwing an error? Because I'm saying that input should be an integer. I'm not saying input should be float. Okay, we are saying that input should be integer. Okay, just bear this part in mind. Okay, if I say 2, you get 2. If I say 3, you get 3. Then we are also defining x2 and y2. Here also I'm saying the same thing. Input, enter x2, and that should be an integer. And using assignment operator, assigning to x. Then you are saying you have you want an integer. Input, enter y2. Using assignment operator, assign it to a variable called y. Now if you print x2 comma y2, what happens? So this enter x2, whatever you have given in the double quotes, that would come here. You enter a value into that. Let me enter 4, some number. Now here you are saying enter y2 colon. So you enter the y2 values. So you have 4 and 5. That is what you are printing. So you have x1 and y1, x2 and y2, which got printed. Now we want to find the distance. Math.square root of x2 minus x1. When you say 2 stars, that means it is exponential. Then plus y2 minus y1. I mean, even if you don't give a space here or here, here or here, here or here, it works. But that's not according to the best practice. So this can be written as x2 minus x1 whole square, x2 minus x1 plus y2 minus y1 whole square. And then you take the square root of that. And then using the assignment operator, assign it to a variable called distance. And once you get the distance value, when you say print of distance, you get the value. But here, let's see what value we are going to get. This will be equivalent to square root of x2 is 4 minus x1 is 2. 4 minus 2 whole square plus y2 is 5 minus y1 is 3. So 4 minus 2 is 2, 2 square is 4 plus 5 minus 3 is 2, 2 square is 4. So you get square root of 8. That will give you some number, as I told you, 2 point something. So let me run that and see. Oh, how did we get 6? Did I miss out on anything? Should be 5 minus 3 whole square. And then you're saying 4 minus 2 whole square. You're adding those numbers. Okay, now I got it. That's what I was wondering. Something is going wrong. Right. Let me see now. Let's read this. y2 minus y1 whole square. Okay, and then x2 minus x1 whole square. And then I'm gonna add those. One second, please. Let me see. X minus x1 whole square. Okay, this will give you some number. You can store that. Plus y2 minus y1 whole square. Okay, let me put a bracket here also. It's taking that y2 minus y1 whole square. Okay, you are storing it properly. x2 minus x1 whole square. Get a value, you are storing it. Now you want the square root of that. Done. If I were to run it now, just because of one bracket which was not given, it was giving a different value altogether because of the way it expands the code, right? First, it will give first preference to parenthesis and then expand. Anyways, that aside, when we calculate the distance, you get 2.82. So just ensure that you have, whenever you give a bracket, it's appropriate. Okay, this concludes our, I would say, part 1 of the Python programming, which we intend to cover. Now, there is part 2. So, just allow me a minute while I get into part 2. So, for part 2, I will have to just quickly pull up a specific presentation as well. So allow me a quick minute. All right, so what I shall do now is, we had spent enough amount of time on Jupyter. The reason why I've used Jupyter is because you can embed the slides like this. I can talk on this PowerPoint presentations, then I can switch to the code. That is the reason why I've used this, right? You have the PowerPoint presentation and then you have the code pertaining to that. Now let's switch back to Google Colab. There are a lot of IDs. As I've promised, my intention is to ensure that you learn Google Colab, or you practice your code on Google Colab. You practice your code on Jupyter, You practice your code on Spider. Sooner or later, I'm going to open Spider and then I'm going to show you certain things. Then you also have Amazon Studio Lab. We'll also do the Python programming on this. Just to ensure that you have a better handle on all the IDEs. That's it. That's my opinion. The more you know, the better it is, right? That's the rationale. Okay, anyways. Now let me switch back to Google Colab. This was something that we have seen long back. Again, I'm going back to this. I'll create a new notebook. Okay, I'll just load the notebook from the documents. So it will load now. Okay, done. Now these are a few Jupyter Notebook shortcuts are not relevant here because we are now going to use Google Colab. Variable declaration rules are a few things that we have already discussed. These are listed down here so that you read those and ensure that you do not repeat the mistakes. Okay. And now let's get into something called as conditional statements. If the condition is met, you get the output. If the condition is not met, you will not get the output. Before we proceed further, we have something called as a runtime environment, which we need to create. When you go to runtime and click on change runtime type, here I'm using Google Colab Pro. So I would be given standard and high RAM, etc. If you're having a free account, if you're trying to use a free Google Colab account, then you need not worry about changing anything. Right? And here on the right hand side, you see an option called connect. You can click on connect and Google is going to randomly allocate a server for you, a computer, basically. Right? Once it gets initialized, you can proceed further. Just give me a minute. So sorry, please. Yeah, sorry about that, friends. Okay. So you can click on view resources and you can understand how much of your system RAM and how much of your disk is being utilized. Let me close that. You can access certain other things. If I hover my mouse on that, it says 12.68 GB of RAM, some 12 GB RAM is allocated. And when it comes to disk space, 225 GB is allocated. Right? And it automatically connected to Python 3 basically, and then you can write the Python code here. This is how it typically works. Okay. So let's run the first line of code. Now we are writing a conditional statement here. We are saying A equal to 23. That means this value called 23. Using this assignment operator is assigned to a variable to A. Sorry. Assignment operator A. Sorry, so you have a value, you are asked a variable called A. If A, which is 23, if it is greater than or equal to 22, you know that 23 is greater than or equal to 22. That means this condition is true. If this condition is did it print? Yes, it did that. You just need to click and then this cell got executed. Is greater than or equal to 22. So 20 is not greater than or equal to 22. Then if you print this, it doesn't print anything. Obviously, because the condition is not met. Only if the condition is met, you will get the results. These are called as conditional statements. If I put say 25, for instance, and if I were to run it, there you go, the answer. Okay, next. X equal to 3 is what we are assigning. X equal to 3. And we are putting a condition and saying that if x is less than 5, then print that value of x. 3 is obviously less than 5, so you print 3. 3 gets printed. And also when you say print 5, this value 5 also gets printed. That's a if I change this value, x value to say 8, then what happens? X equal to 8. If x is less than 5, print that x value. 8 is not less than 5. 8 is greater than 5. So it would not execute this conditional statement. It will just come here and print this 5. Let me run this. Let me quickly do a speed. So the internet connection is okay, pretty okay here. And I request everyone to just double confirm on whether you're able to hear me now properly without any interruption. Is my voice still breaking or is it okay now? Just a double confirmation, friends. Let me wait and see. I will check my line. Okay. YouTube channel. Let me see now. Okay. Okay. So you all are saying that now there is no issue, right? So fine. Let me proceed. Okay. So here, if x equal to 8, it will not execute this conditional statement because x value should be less than 5 to be able to execute this. 8 means it is greater than 5, so this will not get executed. Instead print 5, this is getting executed directly. Next. I'm saying x equal to 2, y equal to 5. So this value 2 gets assigned to variable x, value 25 gets assigned to variable y. And then when you say print x, directly it gets printed. There is no condition. Here you are writing a condition, or you are saying that if x value is less than 10, colon, enter. The moment you enter, there will be indentation which will get created. You are saying print that x value is 2. X is 2, right? Is 2 less than 10? Obviously 2 is less than 10. Then you're saying print that value. Print this x. Now, okay. Now, and also you're giving another statement called print y. Y value is 25. You're just printing it. So here in this print and in this print statement, there is no condition. But here you have a condition. If x is less than 10, right? That is the condition that we have. You can change the x and y values and then experiment at your end. You can do that. Next. We are now going to if-else condition. First, we looked at if condition only. Now, if and else conditions. If you have two conditions to work with, this is how you have a value called false. Using the assignment operator, you are assigning this false to a variable called isMail. Now, if isMail, then print your male, else print your female. That means if isMail is true, print this. If it is false, print this. So you're saying false, this is false. If this is false, it will go to else. If this is equal to true, print this. If this is false, print this. So since this is false, it will not execute this condition. Instead, it will go to this condition and it will print this. You are female. If I change this, from false to true, then what happens? If I were to just click on this run, it will get executed. True. So that means if true, print this statement. So it will print this. And then, since this condition got executed, this condition doesn't matter to us. Any one condition will be true at any given point of time. Then you are saying a equal to 23. You are assigning a value 23 to a variable called a. Then you are saying if a value is greater than or equal to 22, that means if 23, here you have 23, right? If it is greater than or equal to 22, yes, 23 is greater than or equal to 22. Then you are saying print two statements, print if also and print this double quotes, one more statement. Print that also. The two statements are ready to print. Else if a value is greater than or equal to 21, then you are saying print else if. If none of these conditions satisfy, go to this. For 22, 23, this is getting satisfied. Let us do this. Let me now change a value as 21. Is 21 greater than or equal to 22? No. So this condition will be skipped. This won't get executed. Else if a is greater than or equal to 21. A is 21. Is 21 greater than or equal to 21? Yes. 21 equal to 21. Then you print else if. So let me run this. So yeah, else if. This gets printed. Else this gets printed. So let's see. If I were to change this to 20, now what happens? Is 20 greater than or equal to 22? No. So this condition won't get printed. Else if A is greater than or equal to 21. Is 20 greater than or equal to 21? No. This also won't get printed. Else, print this else. So if I were to run it, you get this. That is how simple it is. These are called as conditional statements. If a condition is met, that line of code gets executed. Otherwise, it doesn't get executed. Okay, now let's do. You can have multiple nested loops. Okay, if you have more than two conditions, you use else if multiple times. So let's see. You are having two conditions. Is male equal to true? Is tall equal to true? You are assigning this value, Boolean value called true, to a variable is male, a Boolean value called true to another variable called is tall. If is male and is tall, meaning if both of these are true, print this statement. Else if is male is true and is tall is false, not this means false, then print this. Else if not is male means if this is false and if this is true, then print you are not male but you are tall. If none of these three conditions are met, then print this. You're not a male, you're not a female. You're not tall as well. My God. So if you were to run it, since you have true in both cases, if both are true, you print this. That's it. Once that gets printed, all these other conditions will be null and void. I mean, the other conditions will not get executed. Any one condition will be true. Now let me say, let me change this value to false. Meaning, if I go to run it, it says, if both are true, then print this. But this is true and this is false. So this condition is not satisfied. Else if is male is true and not is tall means this is false. Yes, true and false. If this is true and this is false, what do you want to print? You are a short male. Yes, that is what is getting printed. Then, if this is false and this is true, then what happens? And what is happening is, if both of these are true, it prints this. If this is true and this is false, it prints this, but that's not the case. If this is false and this is true, then print this. Yes, one is false, one is true. So you print this. You're not male, but you're tall. Okay. Now, if I put both as false, if both are true, print this. But both are false, so this condition doesn't get satisfied. Else if is male is true and is tall is false, print this. But both are false, so this condition also is not satisfied. Else if this is false and this is true, print this. This condition also doesn't get executed because both are false. So the only condition which is left out is the last condition, and that gets printed if I were to run this. You're not male and not tall. This is how the if else if statements are printed. And now let us also talk about condition within a conditional statement. Let's see how this is going to work. Condition within a condition. These are also called as nested if statements. A conditional statement within a conditional statement. So we are creating three different variables. We are assigning 500 to score, 6,000 to money, and 65 to age. If the score value is greater than 100, you have a score value which is greater than 100, then what do? You are saying print, you have good points. So here you have 500 which is greater than 100. So immediately you print this. You got good points is what you print. Next, if money is greater than or equal to 5,000. Is money greater than 5,000? Yes, it is 6,000. 6,000 is greater than or equal to 5,000. So then you print, you win. If age is greater than or equal to 30, meaning 65 is greater than or equal to 30, then what do? You print this. You win in middle age. Now you can play around with these. And if I go to say, let me take a score of 50 and let me run it. If your score is greater than 100, pursue this. Continue. But score is 50, it is not greater than 50. If it is not greater than 50, directly it will come out of the loop to the else loop and it will print whatever is given here. Done. It will not even go and check the other conditions because the first condition itself didn't meet. Only if the first condition is satisfied, it will check for the next condition. So let me put it 500 and let me make it 600. Now what happens? Let's see. If score is greater than 100, here you have 500. Is it greater than 100? Yes. If it is greater than 100, you print this. You got good points. If money is greater than or equal to 5,000, is money greater than or equal to 5,000? No, it's only 600. So this condition is not satisfied. So it will directly go to the else loop and print whatever is there in the else loop. You have high points, but you do not have enough money. That's it. It comes out of the loop. Only if this condition is satisfied, it will go to the next conditional statement. Otherwise, it will not even move further. Now, what I'll do is, let me also ensure that this condition is met. Let me make it 25. Now, what happens? Let me run this and then explain. Is this greater than 100? Score? Yes, 500 is greater than 100. So it will print whatever is given here. You got good points. It gets printed. Then it will, since the condition is satisfied, it will go to the next condition. If money greater than or equal to 5,000. What is money? It is 6,000. Is 6,000 greater than or equal to 5,000? Yes. Then you print this, that you win. Then if age, I mean, this condition is satisfied, right? Hence, it will go to the next condition. If age is greater than or equal to 30, print this. But is age greater than or equal to 30? No, age is 25. 25 is not greater than or equal to 30. So what do you do then? So this if statement is not printed, it will go to the else statement. And it will automatically print this. you win in young age. I'm just making those grammatical corrections here. So you win in young age gets printed here. Since this if statement is not satisfied, it will go to else. So the outermost conditional statement, only if that is satisfied, it will go to the next conditional statement within that. Only if this is satisfied, it will go to the next. Otherwise, it will come out of the loop. This is how nested conditional statements work. Now, next. If you want to test if there is an element in the list using if statement, it is so simple. You're creating a list and you're saying Ajay and Ramesh are the two values, string values. Whenever you put something in single quotes or double quotes or triple double quotes, they would be considered as strings. So you have these two string values. You're assigning it to a variable called list. And if Vijay is in list, print found Vijay. Okay, what are you saying? Do I have, or if the name or string called Vijay is found in this list, then print this. Do you have Vijay in this list? We do not have. So would it print anything? No. Since the condition is not satisfied, it is not printing. However, if I say, is Ramesh in the list? And you can say, found Ramesh. If I were to run it, it will print for you this statement. Why? Why is it printing this statement? Because you have created a list, Ajay and Ramesh. And then you're saying if Ramesh is in the list. Yes, the word Ramesh is in the list. Hence, you're saying print this. All right. So this is how you come up with the conditional statements. A few things that I want to tell you. If you go to 360 digit ng, which is our website, you'd find mind map here. Please click on the mind map. And in the drop down, you have Python programming fundamentals. When you click on that, you get to see these. We have discussed about the conditional statement, which is if statement, if else if, nested if statements, all of these. Keep reading and keep having a view of this mind map so that it gives you more information and more insights here. Next, please ensure that you subscribe to our YouTube channel and ask your friends, relatives, whoever, your well-wishers. If you feel that they're going to benefit from this training, just notify to them as well. Let us ensure that we reach this to as many people as possible. If you feel that it is beneficial, just ensure that you have many people subscribe so that they reap the benefits. Next month, I'm going to do data science foundations using Python, and you all will be benefited from that. Do subscribe. And one more thing is we have LinkedIn questions that we are posting. Do some research, respond to those LinkedIn quizzes which we have. Okay. Sorry about this. Let me just type quiz. Every day we are posting the quiz. Answer those in the comments section. Okay. Answer in the comments section. And if we find that someone has periodically every day answered to the comments, we would certainly ensure that we tell you on how to get NASSCOM and 360 Digit MD joint certificate, And for the people who are very, very active, we will also guide you to help you understand how you can clear a specific exam and get 1,000 rupees into your account. This is not from me, this is from Government of India, GOR. Okay, so let's see how it works. And please also subscribe or follow our page on LinkedIn. Follow our 360 Digit MG page on LinkedIn. Thank you all so much for joining in. We'll connect tomorrow and take this discussion to the next level.